Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Keep Watch Pass on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. I have mentioned on past episodes of this and of It's Not That Bad that were this a video podcast, you would see behind me a mountain of books waiting to be read. I'm a book whore. I fully admit I have far too many books than I can possibly read with my limited time left on this earth. I suffer from sunduku, and yes, that is a word. Apparently, it is the insatiable need to buy more books than one can possibly read. But to quote Barney Stinson, challenge accepted. But that makes this topic a little bit close to home, because we are talking about movies that were adapted from novels. And here to join me, my lovely wife, Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. By the way, if you see Jay unaccompanied in a bookstore, please call me. Let me know. I'll come and get him. We don't let him out of our sight in especially used bookstores. We have his poster up at most of them.
See,
no, I'm kidding.
This is why I sneak away to small different towns around the area, because hopefully Carrie hasn't actually discovered the existence of this bookstore and my picture is not up behind the wall saying this person has a $5 limit. If they go over it, kick them out.
Are you kidding? You have your local haunts that know you well, and they see you coming, and they usually bring out the empty box that you're going to fill with books. Yeah.
I'm supporting local business.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
It is a good thing. It's a very good thing. I'm recycling. See, I'm just recycling books. Okay, before I try to justify my addiction any further, and this turns from a podcast to an intervention, let me tell you what we're going to do. We're going to pick 3 movies each from the large bastion of films that have been adapted from novels and pick 3 each. A keep, a watch, and a pass. The keep is definitely a bestseller in the theaters and on our shelves. The watch is one where, you know what? Cover to cover, we're all good. And then the pass is one that maybe we leave that at the bookstore. Even though you may like the book, we're talking about the movie. And the movie is never as good as the book, as we all know. So, Carrie, I'm going to pass the ball over to you. I'm going to pass the book over to you. What is your keep film adapted from a novel?
Well, I am grateful that you're not throwing the book at me.
I have many books here I can throw.
I know.
And some of them are very, very big.
Some look pretty heavy, like phone book size. But
Let
anyway.
me put it this way. If you could kill a zombie with a book, come the zombie apocalypse, I'm the guy you want on your team.
Exactly.
Because I have endless ammo. But go on.
All right. Well, of course, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I absolutely think that the books are better than the movie, but I am talking about The Boy Who Lived, the Harry Potter book series.
Color me surprised.
versus the movie. And definitely, you know what? I'm not knocking the movie. I think they're absolute perfection, all 8 movies. And I had mentioned it before, and I'll say it again. I fear the new series coming out because I don't like change. And I don't know. I admit that I can't help but compare it to, the Golden Trio, right? Like the 3 actors were so fantastic in their roles, and they brought the characters to life and gave the words on the page a face and an identity, and it's Leviosa, not Leviosa. Like the the actresses and actors were so fantastic. And I don't know if it should be. Let's just leave it alone. Leave well enough alone.
All right, I'm going to throw a curveball at you then.
Okay.
Since I could have put money on this. Right now, there are listeners who are like, if our podcast was on FanDuel, it's like, oh, there's a topic where she's going to pick Harry Potter. So I'm gonna make you narrow this down a little bit here.
I'm ready.
What is the best adaptation, most faithful to the novel of the 8 films?
Ooh.
You thought you were ready.
I thought I was ready. I'm going to start with the start. I'm going to start with Philosopher's Stone.
Okay.
Even though, there were certain, I don't know, I think in building the world of Hogwarts, and even in introducing young Harry Potter, the boy in the cupboard under the stairs at 4 Privet Drive in Surrey, England. I think they did a wonderful job setting the world up, and then it just goes on and on and on from there. And the books, of course, have so many more details and just more character development than I think the movies had time for. And case in point, right? Like Deathly Hallows was made into 2 movies because there was just so much in that one book. So, maybe that's the benefit of this new series, because in a series over the span of each season, you can really dig deeper and bring the book to life more. Maybe I don't know. I'm really struggling to see anyone else stand where he stood,
See, I think this is why I love the streaming era, because most streamers are looking for a series, I think, over a movie. And when you're dealing with properties adapted from a novel, you have the ability to give it that space. So I have a feeling that if Harry Potter didn't get made until the streaming era, they wouldn't have even bothered with films. I think they would have just done series and done what they're going to do. This is why, and because it's a series, we can't pick it, because we talk movies here. We don't talk TV shows. This is why I was so happy when Altered Carbon was announced as a series, because the book series by Richard Morgan, I love reading those books. Like, that's a good. So when they told me it was a series treatment, I'm like, yes, give it the space to grow. But I can't pick Altered Carbon. But you know me, I'm a sci-fi geek. So, of course, I'm going to pick a sci-fi film based on a Philip K. Dick novel, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? The movie, of course, is Blade Runner. We're talking the original Blade Runner, starring Harrison Ford, Daryl Hannah, Rutger Hauer, with one of the best all-time on-screen deaths with his dying soliloquy. Like, this film, it inspired so much. You take a look at the Coruscant scenes in Star Wars Episode 2 when they're chasing after the bounty hunter that tried to kill Padme, and you can feel the Blade Runner influence. This is one of Ridley Scott's best films. I love this film. I even love Blade Runner 2049. I love what they did with that. Even the anime series that was done around the Blade Runner 2049 era, and the new one, Black Lotus. The Blade Runner world, I'm so all here for it. And it comes, of course, from that Philip K. Dick novel. And there are other Philip K. Dick books that have been turned into series and films, and each one is good, but I think Blade Runner stands above them all. I'm going to try and say this name right, so please don't at me if I get this wrong. But I'm actually going to give props where props are due. Because Tom Cruise hasn't always had the best output when it comes to sci-fi films based on books. I mean, I liked Minority Report. That was good. Oblivion? Meh. War of the Worlds? Nope. No. But based on the novel All You Need Is Kill by Hiroshi Sakurazaka, Edge of Tomorrow may be Tom Cruise's best ever sci-fi film. And I don't even think it's close. Like, let me try to explain to you, because the look on your face where this video podcast would be I don't know what movie you're talking about. You're talking sci-fi films again. So picture a combination of Starship Troopers meets Source Code and Groundhog Day.
It's a comedy.
No.
Oh.
No. But in like more serious sci-fi tone. This is fantastic. Emily Blunt is full on badass in this. She is fantastic.
I'm intrigued.
And the thing is, when you get one of those movies where it's repeating itself because you're kind of in a time loop, it can get to be annoying. But there's something so cool about this one, because you get to this montage part where Tom Cruise's character is learning from his past mistakes and he's starting to remember what not to do. So if you're a Tom Cruise fan, this is actually some of his best acting in a sci-fi film. If you're not a Tom Cruise fan, you get to see him blown up a lot. So it's strangely satisfying in that way as well.
Oh my God.
But I'm just saying, it's one of those things where like, Tom Cruise going to die again? Count me in. Popcorn. Emily Blunt's a badass. All good. Edge of Tomorrow is a smart film though. And it's really well done. And it's not too sci-fi-y. And I know for people who kind of get lost in time travel-esque type films, this is not that. It's a very, very cool film. And if you haven't seen it, even if you don't like sci-fi, give this film a chance, because I have a feeling it might change your mind. Especially it will change your mind on Tom Cruise sci-fi films. All right, Carrie, over to you. Your watch pick.
As you know, I'm a huge Elmore Leonard fan. And
what you know?
I know, right? This might be shocking. But Elmore Leonard wrote Jackie Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And it was later made into a film. And it was absolutely perfect to everything that I would hope for. They made it funny. They made it, I mean, it's not, maybe it's not as dark as the novel was, but I thought it was quite enjoyable and very smartly done.
See, I'm going to redirect our listeners right now to, whatever podcatcher app you are listening to this episode on, scroll down a ways. So you find our second ever episode of Keep Watch Pass, which was movies directed by Quentin Tarantino. Jackie Brown was Carrie's keep pick from that. And then it broke her heart that it was my pass.
I had just forgiven you about that. You had to bring that up.
No, I'm bringing that up. And I'm going to say the same thing now that I said back then, is that I'm not saying it's a bad film, but I just think that Tarantino felt maybe uncomfortable because it's not his words. It's one thing when you're directing something that you wrote and and these are your characters and you know exactly who they're supposed to be. But this is an Elmore Leonard novel. And we know that Tarantino was an Elmore Leonard fan. And it's not Tarantino's best film. And I don't even think it's the best Elmore Leonard adaptation to the big screen. I mean, if you told me I had to pick an Elmore Leonard film.
The Big Bounce?
No. God, no. God, no. I mean, I enjoyed that film, but
One for the money?
no,
Hmm.
no. I would probably go with Kill Shot. Kill Shot was a very, very good film. 52 Pickup was also pretty good as well. But no, I mean, definitely not Jackie Brown. And it's nothing against Tarantino. It's nothing against the cast. It's nothing against the story. I just don't think it's what I was expecting going into a Tarantino film. And maybe that's just my own personal idea of what a Tarantino film is, because I have an idea of what a Tarantino film should be. So when I go to the theater and I sit down and I watch that and I don't get that, then my expectations are not met. And maybe I need to clear those expectations. Maybe I need to mentally tell myself that it's not a Tarantino film, because really it's not.
It's an Elmore Leonard novel.
It's an Elmore Leonard novel adapted by Quentin Tarantino.
But it was so perfect. Like, it had the bounty hunter element. It had, like, Pam Grier was so great.
Mm-hmm.
She was perfect. I mean, come on. Samuel L. Jackson as the gun expert. Like, I can just think of that one scene where he's like talking about different guns, and he's just like such a perfect badass.
Hear me out on this one, okay? Just to get back to my whole Tarantino expectations kind of. We know Metallica is a really, really hard band, right? They are hard as hell. Gods of metal, all good. Definitely earned their place in the pantheon of heavy metal. And if all you ever listened to were the early Metallica albums, you'd have an idea what a Metallica song should sound like. But then, if someone then played you Mama Said and didn't prepare you for what you were about to hear, you'd be like, well, what the hell is this? Because Mama Said maybe even has some of those country vibes in it as well, but it's not Ride the Lightning. It's not Master of Puppets. You know, it's not One. It's not Hit the Lights. But it's still a good Metallica song. So maybe I need to get out of my own way on this and give Jackie Brown another chance. Maybe. We'll see. All right. Back to you, Carrie. Your pass pick.
I am quite easily saving myself the pain and agony of how many 1,000 pages of Stephen King's The Stand and the movie adaptation where, oh, we got to end it somehow. I don't know. Let's just have everyone wake up from this dream. Like, come on.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on that one. Now, my frame of reference for The Stand from a visual perspective is the made-for-TV movie. And I kind of got the same feeling about the made-for-TV movie as I did when I read the book. So when I read the book, and I read the book, the whole damn thing, the first half of the book, because it's broken up into 4 parts, the first 2 parts of the book, I couldn't put it down. It was great. It was so good. It was mesmerizing. And the third part got a little out there, a little mystical. And by the fourth part, I'm like, what the is going on? So the TV film kind of actually hit that tone because it was broken up into 2 parts. And the first part was actually very well done. And then it got mystical. And next thing you know, you got Max Headroom riding a nuclear bomb into Las Vegas, and the hand of God comes down and touches it off. And I was like, what the is going on here?
Right.
And it's a shame because you're right. The Stand is well over 1,000 pages long. And I read that damn thing. And to go from absolute suck you in page turner to by the last couple hundred pages, you're like hate reading it at this point because you're this far now. You can't give up. I'm kind of with you on this one.
Well, why is that? I mean, why do you think you've read the book? I haven't read the book, so I really don't have much of a ground to stand on, and I have passed this long, and I continue to wish to,
Save
keep that
yourself.
legacy going. But like, why? Like, why do you suppose they got so close to the end of a really great start, and then just kind of like fake the landing? Like, why?
See, and I think there are some who will sit there and say that there's a natural progression to the ending. And I mean, I'm not that person, but for me, I was so absorbed with this post humanity killing viral, like day after tomorrow kind of feel to the story. And like, I don't know, maybe it's like for people who like doomsday porn type movies and shows and books, like they get a kick out of reading about not the end of the world, because there's still people alive, but that survival kind of story. And those first two parts, the first half of that book is a fantastic survival story. And then it just gets mystical, and it pulled away from what I was really enjoying from the book. And the TV movie did the same damn thing. Even though Laura San Giacomo's in the made-for-TV movie, and I like her, but just no. All right. I'm going to try not to rage. I'm going to try not to rage, but I might.
Here we go. Snickers bar in hand.
So bear with me here. One of the best writers out there for more dramatic type tales, not necessarily like action books, but like very human stories, is John Irving. And a number of his books have been turned into movies. And in each and every case of the ones that I can really point out, they just haven't taken the whole damn story and they've changed the story each and every time that I can think of. The World According to Garp, loved the book. The f*** are you doing with the movie? Widow for 1 year? You only use like the first third of the book.
Did they make a movie of that?
Yes,
Did they?
The Door on the Floor. But for my pass pick, I'm going with A Prayer for Owen Meany, adapted into the film Simon Birch. First of all, the book is called A Prayer for Owen Meany. Nowhere in this book is there a character called Simon Birch. No, it's A Prayer for Owen Meany. Don't change the story, and don't you dare change the ending. No. Okay. Try not to get mad here. John Irving is a fantastic freaking author. And every time they've taken one of his books and tried to turn it into a film, they're like, oh, we can do better. No, you cannot. You're not John Irving. And your films prove it. So this is where I sit there and say, the book is far superior than any movie that has come from it. Do not deign to change the words of Mr. John Irving. It's your ass down, Joe Blow screenwriter. And I'm sure if I didn't read A Prayer for Owen Meany, Simon Birch might be a nice film. But I read the damn book. And Simon Birch is no Owen Meany. I think I held it together okay. Maybe not. This is as together as my ish gets when it comes to just bad adaptations of books, because I like reading. I like being taken away. That's the beauty part about a book, right? You're guaranteed, however fast you read and however big the book is, whether it's a quick 1 day read, knock it off all good, or whether it's a 1,000+ page take you on a roller coaster kind of story that's going to take you a couple days. You get to escape. You get to imagine. You close your eyes afterwards, or while you're reading, you're picturing characters. Maybe you're even fan casting them a little bit, because that's what I do. If I'm reading a book, I will fan cast. I got it right once. Once I was right. The book was Relic, and written by Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child. And when I was reading it, I'm reading this. I'm like, oh, this character, Penelope Ann Miller would be great in this. Then the movie came out, and it starred Penelope Ann Miller. I was right once. I have yet to be right since, but I was right once. So, little flag in the ground there. But yeah, no. More often than not, I think I'd rather read the book. And every now and then, the movie comes out and it's great. And you sit there and go, I understand the changes that you made. Because I do. I appreciate that not every book can be translated verbatim into film. But they're batting over on John Irving. And that's a shame, because John Irving has written some great stories. All right, Carrie. To you, please remind our listeners what your keep, watch, and pass picks are from movies adapted from novels.
My keep is Harry Potter, and specifically the Philosopher's Stone. And my watch is Jackie Brown, a novel adaptation by Quentin Tarantino of the Elmore Leonard novel. And I'm passing on The Stand.
For my keep, I'm going with Blade Runner. My watch is Edge of Tomorrow, and my pass is Simon Birch. He is no Owen Meany. Carrie, thank you so much for this. And to you, our dear listeners, well, you guys know the drill. If there is a topic that you want us to cover on Keep, Watch, Pass, or a movie that you want us to cover on It's Not That Bad, hit us up on social media at Not That Badcast, or go to our website at notthatbadcast.com. And a quick reminder that in 2025, we're going to be launching our merch store on our website. So if you want to help support the show, if you love what you hear, you want to help out, hey, you know what? Buy a shirt, buy a hat. We're going to be putting some merch out there. So you like the show, you can rep the show. Until next time, she's Carrie, I'm Jay. You guys are awesome. This is Keep, Watch, Pass on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Take care.